Hello everyone and welcome back to the Crafty Yellow Camper, and today I've got a card for you using some elements of the Lights Aglow suite. So we're going to be using the paper today. This is a really nice 6x6 paper pack. It's gold embossed on pretty much all of the sheets. You get 4 I think of each of the designs, so there's that one with the snowflakes, one with a bit more spread out, that one that looks like a tree, I think, but I guess it's meant to be like a lightning streak. There's white with the gold snowflakes. So you've got basic black and evening evergreen so far. And then there's this one that's got some red in as well. I think it's real red. Let's just have a little look. Oh no, cherry cobbler. So basic black, cherry cobbler, evening evergreen, soft succulent and very vanilla. So that isn't white, it's very vanilla. So that one's got the little dots. And then you get this scallopy one. Makes me think of mermaid scales. Hopefully you can see that shimmer on there. It's very pretty. So that's the soft succulent. And then we're back to some more evening evergreen, and that's got a tree on it. And then some more here with snowflakes, and this is the paper that we're actually going to use today. And then we've got some cherry cobbler with little tiny sort of snowflakes on, a cherry cobbler in the scales. And then these are really interesting. So you get 4 each of these. So there's 4 in cherry cobbler and 4 in soft succulent, and they're basically frames. So you've got 2 circles and you've got 2 squares. Which is really handy if you want to put a sentiment, to cut a circle or a square to go in those. And as I said, you get 4 each of those. So those are the papers, which are really nice. I think they're really quite good value. On the back side, they've got sort of watercolour, no gold, but still nice prints in a sort of some are snowflakes, some are sort of watercolour, some are dots. Little snowflakes again, little lines of them. Yeah, so quite nice papers. And although they're intended for Christmas, I think they could be used for other things as well. So the one that I've chosen to use today is this one. So it's soft succulent with some evening evergreen on the back, and the little, I don't know if I can get that in close enough. There we go. Hopefully you can see the little gold twinkly bits on there. So the other thing that we're going to use is the Lights Aglow, Labels Aglow, I should say, dies. The stamp set is called Lights Aglow, which I don't actually have at the moment. I love the papers and I love the dies, but there were quite a few sentiments in the stamp set, and I didn't want to have too many. I'm just going to show you. It's all on page 30 and 31. This is the whole suite. So there's some card examples that the people at Stampin' Up have made. Here are our 6x6 papers, and then there are some other papers that go with the whole suite as well. So you've got these festive foils, which are in cherry cobbler, soft succulent and gold. And then there's some glimmer paper, there are pearls, and there is some gold edged ribbon as well. And then these are the 2 stamp sets. So the dies that we're using today, this is the stamp set that goes with it, and one of the dies cuts out that greeting and one cuts out that, and there's a greeting that fits on the circle. That will become clear in a minute. And then there is actually another stamp set and another set of dies in the suite. So this is a stamp set with a large snowflake, a large and a small tree, and some smaller snowflakes, and these sort of garlands. And there is a set of dies that goes with those as well, but I'll show you those another time. Okay, so out of these dies, we are actually going to use 3 of them. Well, we're not actually, we're going to use a few more than 3, but to start with, we're going to use 3. So we've got this one here. If I hold that up, you can see that pops out lots of little dots, but you'll notice it doesn't have a cutting edge externally or internally. So all that will do is cut those dots out. If you want a circle to go in the middle, then there's this die which cuts the little sort of stitched dots around the edge, and it has a cutting edge on the outside, and that sort of corresponds inside that die. The other die that we're going to use as well is this one here. Now, annoyingly, this isn't the same width. This is a C6 card base, and it isn't the same width across, and it's a little bit too long to fit sideways. Too long is fine. It's a little bit annoying that it isn't the full length of a C6 card, but you know, hey ho, we can work around that. Okay, so they're the ones that we're going to use to start with, and then I'm also going to bring in some of these little dies. Got one missing, it's slid off. It'll be on my desk somewhere. So we've got these little snowflake dies here, which again just cut out the dots, and we've got this bigger snowflake die here, which again just cuts out the dots. Now, in case you've ever wondered if you've lost a die or not, it does tell you on the packaging. If I hold this up here, not sure if you can see that, it says quantity, and it's got 13 on there, so there should be 13 dies. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I haven't lost one, it's just moved across. So I'm just going to pop those away for now so that we don't risk losing any. Now, I usually take my dies off the cardboard and I put them in CD holders, but I've run out. Okay, so let's have a look at the card. So I'm using a soft succulent card base, and this is half of an UK A4 sheet, cut lengthways at 10.5 centimetres. So it's basically half a sheet lengthways, whatever your size of cardstock is. And then what I've done is I've used those dies. I've used the circular one here on a piece of basic white, and I've used some of the snowflakes, so the bigger one and 2 of the smaller ones, and that is going to layer up on there like that. Then what I've done is I've used that smaller circle, the one that I said does have a cutting edge, and I've just cut that out of a piece of that DSP, and that's going to fit in there. But I just didn't like the fact that it was too stark for me. So what I've actually done is I've punched a circle. Now, the circle punches sadly are retired. This is a 2-inch circle, which is just the right size to go behind. But I'm pretty sure that there will probably be a circle die in the nesting circles, the layering circles that we've got, which are still current, that will cut that the right size or as near as you can get to it anyway, because I'm pretty sure the nesting circles are a similar size. I just happen to have the punch near and handy, so I grabbed that. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to do, we're going to do a little bit of inking just to take away some of the starkness of that white and to make the die cut elements pop out a little bit more. So I'm just going to grab a blending brush. You can see how well used my brushes are because they don't come clean anymore. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the soft succulent ink. So we're keeping this very tonal. I'm just going to get some ink on my brush. I'm just going to bring in a piece of scrap paper to have under my sheet of basic white, and I'm just going to start from the edges and just add some colour around the edges. And always start off your piece of cardstock so you don't get harsh lines, and go in with circular motions. And you'll notice that I'm using the my finger on the top of the brush. They are quite thin on the neck, these brushes, which is great because that makes them flexible. But what we don't want to do is snap it off at the neck. And I'm just using what ink is left on my brush just to go over the inner section. Okay, so we've got most of that colour on the edge and then just a little bit in the middle. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll mount this up. Now you could put some glimmer paper behind here if you wanted to, but I haven't got any to hand. Oops, try not to get the glue on the dots, because otherwise it'll squelch out. Okay, and I'm just going to open my card base so I can line it up. And you'll notice that I used Tombow glue because that gives me a little bit of wiggle room. So make sure it's level before you push it down. Now I want to raise this circle up a little bit, so I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on the back of that, and I haven't decided yet. I'm sort of crafting on the hoof. Haven't decided yet whether I want to raise up the DSP or whether I'm just going to stick that on. So let's go ahead and put the put this circle on, and obviously make sure you pop out all your pieces. I've just noticed one of mine that isn't. It's no biggie, but mostly they fall straight out. Now I'm not sure whether I want to have that raised up again, but I think what I'll do is I'll just put some glue on that one. Just a little bit of glue, and again watch the punched out, cut out pieces. Okay, and we're just going to line that up in the middle, in there. Okay, so that's our outside, and then for the inside, I've used that long die. What have I done with the inside of my card? Oh goodness me, it's all going wrong today. Should have the inside, which I've die cut. Oh, here we go. It's hiding underneath the DSP. So I've used that longer die. It doesn't reach right to the edge, but I don't think it matters. But I'm just going to go along and make sure that I've got all of my circles popped out. Now, the easiest way to do this obviously would be to run a die brush over it, which I do own, but that would necessitate me getting up off my chair. I've been out for afternoon tea for my dad's birthday today, and I'm feeling a little bit sluggish. We have a 1940s style tea room run by two lovely gentlemen, and they like to feed you up. There we go. So just pop these out. So I'm just using the pokey tool end of my take your pick tool just to get those out. There's something quite therapeutic about pricking out die cuts until they don't pop out because I haven't cut through properly, and then it's just annoying. Okay, I think we've got most of those out. My craft room is now covered in tiny white dots. Okay, and we need to stamp a greeting on this for the inside of the card. See that little pile of tiny white dots there that didn't quite come out. Okay, so for this I've pulled out the Christmas to Remember, which was in last year's January to July catalogue, and actually went over into the main annual catalogue in June. So we're gonna, oh, I can still see more little circles, look. Yeah, die brush I think is definitely the best idea for this. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to pick out a greeting. I think we're going to go with Friends Like You Make This... Oh no, not that one. Friends Like You Make This Season Special. Which is that one. Okay. Just grab a block. Now, the best way to get them level on your block is to level it up on your grid paper. This one isn't terribly easy because it's not really got that many straight edges. And then put up down. And I'm going to bring back in our soft succulent. Make sure we get the stamp the right way up, always helpful. And we're just going to stamp that, eyeball it in the middle like that. And then I think what I'll do is I'll just bring back in that blending brush just with whatever ink is left on it. Just to very lightly, I don't want any dark colour, just to very lightly go around the edge. Just to take that harshness off the edge of the white. And it doesn't look like we're getting much on there, but if I bring that up to the camera, no, you can't really see. Trust me, there's a very delicate bit of green along there. Okay. Always a good idea to use up the ink that's left on your brushes. The other thing you can do, actually, a little top tip for you, is if you've got ink on your block when you're stamping, is that you can, and on the stamp, you can use your brush just to pick up any ink that's on there, and then obviously you can use that as well to do the edges. Okay, don't know if you can see that, but that's surprising how much ink was left on that stamp. I've managed to pick up. Otherwise that would just obviously get washed off. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put some Tombow along this. And this is where it is sort of handy that that doesn't go all the way to the edge. So maybe this is what they were thinking, is that you can run some glue right down to that edge. Okay, so we're going to open up our card and add that into the middle. Okay, and I know it doesn't leave you loads of room for writing with those dots there, but I think there's enough room to write either side of the sentiment. So there we are, that's my card, just using the paper and the dies from one set of the dies from the Lights Aglow stamp set. Okay, so that's my card for today. I hope you like it. It's nice and quick and easy, be great for mass production, and I'll be back soon with another Christmas card for you. That's all from me for today, and I'll see you all again soon. Happy stamping!